No. I had no idea. I didn't know that any of this, I didn't know that anybody would watch anything that I worked on, honestly. I didn't even realize I was a voice actor until a couple of years after Cowboy Bebop, that the director had to tell me I was actually an actor, and I'd been doing it for, I don't know, 10 years. I was just doing it for fun. I had no idea. And with Toonami, I had a feeling that it would probably do some business, and the guys behind it are geniuses, and they had a much bigger vision of what Toonami would become. So I think they knew. But I never second guess that kind of stuff. I don't try to predict my own future or anybody else's. I just kind of roll with it day to day and try to live in the present. But yeah, it worked out okay. Toonami worked out okay. It was good. How about hand all the way in the back, you with the scarf? Yes. Oh, yeah, I can hear you. It's actually him, but you next then.
What would you say is your least favorite part of your job?
Driving. Yeah, I spend probably 3 to 4 hours a day in the car just trying to get from gig to gig. It's really annoying. So I ohm a lot in the car. I meditate and I try to center myself and listen to music and stuff, but that part sucks. Just getting there is really hard. And I live in a really busy area, so yeah, and parking is, you sir, yes.
So when I saw the Toonami April Fools, I was floored by how awesome that night was. When you came back and did that one, did you realize what it was going to turn into? How big it was going to become?
You know, the hopes were up, but I had no idea if they could actually pull it off. And they wouldn't really tell me much. I think it was always the plan to get it back, and that's what they were saying, that was the plan. But they really didn't have any network support. These guys did it on their own. So online, if you get a chance, thank them. These guys kind of did it out of pocket and on their own time. And they continue to. They really don't have the financial support to put a program like that back on the air, but they did it anyway for you guys. They're anime fans, they're our people. And so, you know, I don't think any of us knew what was gonna happen after that night. But with the Twitter support and guys like Mark Swint jumping in and just rallying the troops, I mean, it was amazing. It was just amazing, the response. And I stayed up all night that night, just, you know, tweeting, and that's how I learned how to use Twitter, was that night. Because I was fascinated. I was getting thousands of hits and talking to you guys, and you guys still carry the flag. So thank you for staying up late too. That keeps the show on. So stay up late. Yeah. Okay, how about you right here?
Okay, so well, first of all, good morning, Dotachi.
Don't call me Dotachi.
I always wanted to know, when, on the sad news that Toonami was going to get canceled, how did you react to that, and what and why, how did you get started on trying to bring it back?
Well, I didn't know that Toonami was going to get canceled until very, very soon before it happened. And I literally cried in the studio. I record all of my Toonami stuff in a studio in Los Angeles, and those guys work in Atlanta, so I had never really worked with them in the same room. But we sat on the phone and had a moment of silence, and I cried. They probably did. I don't know if they'll admit to it. But it was a really sad moment. It was a very somber moment because it felt like the end of an era for all of us. And as far as bringing Toonami back, I always felt like there was a possibility of that happening, but in the entertainment industry, you can't be sure of anything, and pretty much every show I've ever worked on has been canceled after 2 or 3 seasons, so it's just something, it's just, you know, part of the beast. So I really got on board when they called me to do the April Fool's thing, and I thought, oh my God, they're really gonna do this. And you know, I followed things like Toonami Aftermath and Neo Toonami and some of the sites that kept the fan base alive and kept it alive for you guys. And for those of you who hadn't seen the original Toonami, it was a great resource to go to and feel some of that old love, you know. So yeah, that was when I got back on board those, that night. It was literally that night, and then every day after. And I still continue to get online and talk to you guys too and try to keep it going. I don't necessarily stay up late because I can't, but I'm thankful that you guys do. All right, how about you right here?
There's been rumors of a live-action Cowboy Bebop movies for years now.
Yes.
And a lot of rumors of different actors up for the role of Spike.
Yes.
Is there an actor out there you think would be a good fit for that role?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I had probably the same reaction that a lot of you did when they announced that there might be a Cowboy Bebop live action movie, and especially that Keanu Reeves was attached to it. Until I met him in an airport. I was on my way to Europe or someplace. He was on his way to New York, and we met in one of the little cafe things or something. And I came up, and I wasn't a fanboy, but I felt like I had to have that discussion with him, and I had to know his thoughts. And so I shook his hand, I introduced myself to him, and I thought he was going to say, piss off, you idiot. And fortunately he didn't. He said, oh, you're the guy who plays Spike. Yeah, I wanted to meet you, man. And he shook my hand and we talked. And he is so invested in it. And he wants to do his own stunts, and he loves the show. And if he's invested in it, he's got the right hair for it. He physically was able to do it. What he told me was, though, that they have a great script for it. It would just cost $500 million to produce. And he was afraid by the time it got greenlit, if it ever did, he'd be too old to do his own stunts. So I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But as long as Watanabe's-san is attached to it, I don't think they can really go wrong. Because as long as they give him enough clearance to see the visions through, I think it's going to be just fine. How about you, right there with the glasses? Oh, did you have your hand? Oh, sorry.
I did.
Okay.
Well, a good chunk of your voices kind of sound the same. There's a good chance if someone doesn't even know who you are, they probably heard your voice. What I was wondering is, who decides exactly how your voice goes? Is that like the producer's choice? Is that your choice? The director's choice? I mean, how does that usually go?
Yeah, actors usually have no choice at all.
Really?
So, unless you're a celebrity and you're hired for that one voice.
Okay.
The directors and producers will determine how the voice is used and what range
so,
they want to use.
Kind of easy to get typecast?
Yeah, it is easy to get typecast. I don't feel that's been a problem for me. I've been able to do a lot of different kinds of roles. A lot of people who have only heard 2 or 3 things that I've been in, they hear my same voice coming through, think that I'm the one voice guy. I've been accused of that. But I've been doing voices for 20 years. I've done it in all different ranges. I just was a singing kangaroo for Doc McStuffins. I mean, who knew? Yeah, we really have no control over that at all. We just kind of come in and do what we do, and we have them guide us in. And many times, I'll try to go a different direction, and they'll say, no, this is what we want you for. And so, for those of you complaining about it, it really isn't up to us. Bitch to them, it really isn't us.
It wasn't a complaint, just a question.
I'm just glad to have the gig. I don't care. I'll do anything. I'll do your voice. I don't care. How about you, Rick?